Religion is just something that people can pull ideas from. It's like philosophy. Because of that, there is no meaning in saying separate church and state. Because it's just the president that can pull ideas from things as his philosophy with his own thinking mind. We all have thinking minds, and we can pull ideas from things like philosophy and religion. Okay? You just sound like a total idiot. You sound satanic. Traditionally, the country has a problem with satanic acts because that's just murder. Like the murder of a politician. That's what people with an education would deem a satanic act because of death and destruction following these people in their lives. Because of what people say before they rape somebody. You know, maybe like, I'm the devil and I came to do the devil's work. Okay? Religion is something that people can view like philosophy because it teaches us things, like an education. The assassination of Charlie Kirk is deeply troubling because he did talk about God. However, God is something he can pull ideas from for his philosophy when he speaks on a real stage. For example, if somebody grew up in a private Catholic school, they're allowed to be inside of the Republican Party and run as a candidate for president on stage and even be pro-life because it's an idea, a thought for their own thinking mind that came from religion. Just like somebody could pull words from a philosophy book and use that on a stage. Separate church and state. Well, we know that the Pope is the leader of the Roman Catholic faith, and I don't think that the Pope's ever held the position of president, and I don't think the United States has let that happen. I don't think that that would happen as well. However, religion is something people can pull ideas from. And they can use their thinking mind to open a book, the Bible. It's a book. And people can use those words from the Bible and speak them on a stage as a politician. Just as they could pull words from a philosophy book and state them on stage. Like an education. Separate church and state, what you're saying is totally meaningless. These people have working minds. Charlie Kirk had a working mind. Now he's dead. I'm afraid that his views were Republican like mine. In that a Christian as a Republican. And that's troubling for me. And I can't stop using my thinking mind or talking about things that I believe in because religion is something that I can celebrate in my thinking mind. Just like somebody could pull from a philosophy book and celebrate something from that sort of education. The Holy Trinity and the archangels came to me right here on earth, just like I'm a medium amongst you. That's something that people will pull as an education. Because of my brain spraying holy christened, like a holy angel. People's lives are changed. And some people walk around and they plan on killing us, the Christians. That's what I believe. They're staring through my head. I'll have a lot of security. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I'll see you with Jesus one day. I don't like that phrase. Rest in peace. He's in the kingdom of heaven for how he talked on stage. Because we have parties, we have political parties, and there's only one that a Christian can move inside of. I know that deeply. Because abortion's damned. It's a damn sin. And we as a people, we're allowed to use our thinking minds. And we're allowed to pull from religion and use it as an education of ourselves. And we're allowed to have families, and we're allowed to teach them the religion of Christianity because it works with us better in a society than anything at all. I'm not sure how many Republican figures will be assassinated. Because an act of assassination, cold-blooded murder is damned. If someone's a Christian, they're not a fascist. That's just an idea that somebody can use their working mind to pull from. Just like they could pull from a philosophy book. Separate church and state, you sound like an idiot. You won't get through this podcast right here. I have a thinking mind. I can pull from Christianity and just start talking as an individual. Pull, maybe like a quote from the Bible, per se, because it's a direct pull. However, I live as a Christian. I've been mumbling this whole time because this witch won't let me stop mumbling. And it's tough because I'm trying to use my words. And one day I'll be able to use them. I feel like I'll get shot in my brain all the time because I'm stumbling with my speech because this witch is making me stumble my words, and throw up and fart and everything like that. And it's hard. My body hurts all day. My head hurts all day. But Charlie Kirk's allowed to speak on stage with religious freedom. Perhaps against people he believes to be perverts. Maybe gays. People in the LGBTQ. Who look like they're total cosplay people in dominatrix clothes. Because people do dress like that. And they post it on the internet. Like a cosplay dominatrix person. So on the opposite side of that, when that's going on, Charlie can speak on stage. And in a legal world, Charlie's not allowed to get shot because it's illegal. Now, I've been on Twitter, and Elon just proposed, possibly, he was asking if we should take these profiles down, celebrating a political assassination. And of course, we'll have to. And I can't believe these Democrats have the internet and they're allowed to celebrate a political assassination in real life. And it's really, 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 really sad. It's probably the worst moment for this country. We'll never see anything worse on the internet. Ever. Because there's nothing worse than celebrating an assassination of a politician. This is a politician, a political figure, political activist who believed in Jesus Christ. Now that's something he can do with his working mind. Just like he could pull from a philosophy book and start to use his speech, because he's a person that's allowed to practice that First Amendment. Speaking about Jesus Christ, he's allowed to do that. That's something that a president could do. And they can outlaw abortion as well because of a thinking and working mind from an education. Separate church and state doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I'm waiting for these profiles to be taken down, celebrating a political assassination. These are United States citizens that are celebrating a real political assassination. And people are allowed to have agendas against other Americans and speak freely about it. In politics, if something's against somebody, it's also for somebody, because it's politics. Charlie Kirk was not Hitler. Charlie Kirk was not a Nazi. Those words don't mean anything either. I don't know any person to be a racist if they're from an education. Anyone. Most anyone. I heard him talk about gang violence just before he got shot. And the murder or the crime rate is staggering. There's so many black people. Black and brown people. It's the biggest by far. It's just some statistic. What he's fighting against in those times he's talking to college students who are talking about the LGBTQ, he's fighting against their idea about individuality. And that's all he was doing. That's like saying, I'm somebody, and let me tell you why I'm somebody. And that to me is what the LGBTQ is trying to get out there. They're trying to say, I'm really somebody. Damn it. And that's all I know. And that's all I see these people talk back to him like. All they're saying is, that's really somebody. And that's all I know. And now he's dead. Because people are fighting against Charlie Kirk, and they're saying, I'm really somebody. And they're all from this younger generation, pretty much. They're saying, I'm somebody. Damn it. And that's all I ever found out, is that they're really somebody. But what's that even mean? To people. That you're really somebody. What's it mean? That you want your voices heard? About what? Are you fighting? What are you fighting for? Is there some sort of segregation? Can you get into school? Can you get accepted into college? Okay, you can, no matter what. Okay. Shoot, man, I don't know anywhere that discriminates against somebody on the inside. Say they've got, I don't know, an imaginary friend at like 40 years old. Well, that'd be a little bit weird, right? What's it mean to be discriminated against? Like, you can't use a woman's restroom with a penis? Of course not. No, never. That's insane. That's totally insane. You're an insane person. You'll never get it done. Because penises go inside of vaginas. And that's all people care about. Is that penis can't go in that vagina. Because we live in an orderly society. And that's what you're fighting against. So you're just a nobody. And nobody ever cared how you felt on the inside. What they care about is what you can do for them, like in a business or in a classroom. You could say, I feel yellow inside today. But it doesn't really matter. Because you just have to be somebody in the workplace and in school who gets things done. Jobs. To make money. And that's how you get to be an adult. But I'm really somebody. You sound like you're in some sort of audition for something you knew nothing about. Growing up. What you learn when you grow up is that you need to be self-sufficient. And you need to be able... This is what people care about. Everywhere. You've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. How we care about people is by standing on our own 2 feet. We rely on people that stand on their own 2 feet. In the workplace, in real life, if you stand on your own 2 feet, you drive to work, you get your job done well. You go back to your apartment, you're an adult already. And you can have a friend group in private. And you don't even need to talk about them in the workplace. But you could. And HR departments are all over the country. And there are real jobs in every single business in America against people feeling hurt in the workplace. Feeling hurt in the workplace. Against people feeling hurt in the workplace. So you're not fighting for anything. Because we have HR departments. And it's a real job. And what they look out for most is sex crimes. And you look like a dominatrix stan, a cosplay artist on the internet. And you're fighting. Because I'm really somebody. And I know that. And that's how I did this podcast right here. It's too bad that Charlie Kirk's dead. But he didn't believe in you. And neither do I. So go out there and be somebody.